Hello and welcome to Delightful, Delicious, Delovely. My name is Christina Elise and today I'm going to be making a rather ambitious thing. I'm going to try to make a vegan New York style cheesecake. I have never made one before, a regular one nor a vegan one. I researched it a bunch. I looked at a bunch of different recipes including Martha Stewart and some standard egg and cheese ones, like with non-vegan ones, and then some no-bake ones. And from everybody's various advice, I put together what is a mishmash, which I'm going to call my recipe for it. I have no idea if it's going to work. So there's that caveat. The ingredients for the cream cheese, for the cheesecake itself are simple. It's 2 pounds of cream cheese, 8 ounces of sour cream. All of these are vegan, obviously. 1 3/4 cups of sugar, 6 vegan eggs, some lemon juice, lemon zest, and some vanilla. I bought myself a brand new motherfucker of a Cuisinart food processor. It spiralizes and dices and orders pizza and cleans out underneath the couch. So I don't know how to make it do those things yet, but the pamphlet, the instruction manual is like a fucking encyclopedia. So it's a little bit loud too, actually, but it's smarter than I am. It's like a phone that you'll only use 10% of what it can do. And anyway, you're going to see me try to make it work here. Alright, so I am using a combination. I'm using 6 eggs. I'm going to use 6 eggs of this energy egg replacer stuff. But on top of that, I happen to have this vegan egg yolk. It's meant to recreate a runny egg yolk. And I haven't yet tried it as it's like egg to like dip bread in or whatever. But I had it and I thought I would add it to that energy egg, and it comes out looking like fucking egg. And also it smells like egg. It smells like, yeah, it smells like nutritional yeast here. When I put it in there, it smelled like sulfur. It smelled like farts. But it looks really eggy, and it's thicker. This thickened a lot, and I'll show you what it looks like. So if you don't have this stuff, I don't know where I got it, if I got it on Amazon or if I got it at the Lassen's health food store here. It's been in my fridge for so long, I don't know where it came from. Egg-free, cholesterol-free, vegan, taste and texture just like a runny yolk. So you don't have it, I don't think it's going to make or break any recipe. It just makes this heavy yellow color, and it's definitely thicker than it would be with just the energy egg. So here we go. I'm going to stir this a little bit. Okay, and to that I'm going to add the other ingredients. I'm going to add, first of all, this is fucking expensive, so I hope it came out well. This tofu cream cheese, I needed 2 pounds of this. These are 8 ounces a piece. I needed 4. They're like $5 a piece for me at Ralph's. So this is an expensive cheesecake. It'd be cheaper just to go to fucking vegan bakery and buy a cheesecake. But anyway, 2 pounds of this. 2 pounds of tofu cream cheese. To that I'm going to add, how many ounces are in this? 12. I need 8 ounces of this tofu sour cream, which is what? If it's total is 12, and I need 8, so what is that, 3/4? Is it? Is it? If half is 6, and 9, it would be 9. Fuck it, I'll do 9 ounces of, so 3/4. So this half. So I'm using 9 ounces of sour cream then. You see how slow my brain was? People are like, what do you call the thing that turns the TV on and off? And I'm like, they've forgotten the word for remote, and I don't have the word in my head either. It's gotten very bad around here, just being totally brain dead by myself. Speaking of brain dead, I saw a video on YouTube of a woman in I guess Northern California, Trader Joe's, she wasn't allowed into the store until she put her mask on, which is, I don't know where you guys live, but I live in Los Angeles, and you're not allowed in the store without a mask. My local Gelson's I went to this morning to buy the sour cream, the vegan sour cream, And you can't even get in the store without a mask, and they're monitored. Like, you can't go in until someone leaves. They have a maximum head count in the store, and you know you just follow the fucking instructions. This woman's gets into the Trader Joe's and then takes her mask off once she's in there, and the staff all masked up, and all the other customers are masked up, and she's like, this is America, and you people are sheep, and I don't have to wear my mask, and they're like, well, you do in here, and I'm going to call the police, and she's video. It's like a really long tape, and it was making me so mad I couldn't watch the whole thing. I just skipped through it here and there. But she's in there saying, this is a public, he's saying you can't photograph me, because she's filming the guy. Like this poor worker at Trader Joe's, she's fucking videotaping him, calling the police on her to prove how her rights are being infringed upon, I suppose. And the fact is, she said, this is a public place. Well, it may be a public place as far as the requirement that you wear pants. It's not a public place in that you have the right to do whatever you fucking want to do. It's a private business. They can kick you out for not wearing shoes, they can kick you out for not wearing a shirt, and they can kick you out for not wearing a fucking mask. And it was infuriating because she was calling them sheep and saying she didn't want to breathe back her CO2, that, like, you know, carbon dioxide coming out of her mouth, and she's breathing it back in, like, for how long is she going to shop for? 16 hours? And saying that there's a 99% survival rate. Well, when you consider that 70-something% of Americans allegedly at this point in time potentially have either been exposed or have contracted it, whether they're symptomless or died, I don't want to lose 1% of the American population. It's millions of people. So this 99% survival rate is a false comfort. And anyway, you know what, lady? You go to your gun store or go to your church where other people are like-minded and running around with no mask because you believe either in what Donald Trump is telling you or whatever your red state governor is telling you. But don't come into a place where everybody else is wearing a mask and assert your right to not wear a mask. You're just a fucking douchebag. And be respectful of other people. It's so not all about these people. And it's so gratifying to me that Donald Trump's valet has it, and now Mike Pence's somebody on his staff has it, like, because they're all running around with no masks. And they all deserve to get it. I don't want everyone to die, but I want them to get sick. I really do, because they're being so flippant and so outrageously cavalier with the lives of people who are fragile and prolonging this economic downturn. If everyone gets sick again, or the middle of this country's flaring up like crazy and people are dying, and if we go back to business and then shit hits the fan again, it's going to no one's going to trust a restaurant again. No one's going to trust the soup. It's going to be so much worse. We'd be truly in a great depression. Anyway, so much from my soapbox, but that woman really got my goat today. Anyway, it's, just meanwhile, she's probably one of the same people that says you can't enter the country unless you do it by the rules. You have to follow the rules as an immigrant, which most of these people who are in cages in the border have. They are trying to apply for asylum the legal way. You have to get to the border to apply for asylum. You can't do it from where the fuck they came from, Guatemala, wherever else they were fleeing from. They're trying to do it legally, and they're being separated and caged, and their kids are dying, and their kids are being sold off and adopted out and missing and lost 1,500. I mean, how many thousands of kids are missing at this point in time? Those people had to follow the rules. But this bitch at Trader Joe's doesn't, because she doesn't want to breathe her own CO2. Really. She needs to fuck off. All right, so I put the sour cream in there, right? I think properly you're supposed to do this in a stand mixer. I have a stand mixer, but it's like an industrial one, and I'd need to make enough cheesecakes to cater, a fucking wedding or a cheesecake factory. It's just got a huge work bowl, and they don't make a smaller work bowl for it. So in order for the big blade to hit it, I did need to make so much of this that it's a useless piece of equipment is what I'm trying to get to. I don't want to whip this too much. I don't want to aerate all this dense cream cheese and sour cream, because I want this cake to be dense, not aerated. So I'm trying to minimize how much blending it gets. This is 1 3/4 cups of sugar. That sounds like a really, really lot. But people were ranging between a cup and 2 cups, and some people, I just sort of picked a mid-number. In the interest of not aerating this too much, I'm going to add the other things. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I'm actually going to measure it. I don't know why I never measure, but there we go. Maybe because vanilla is so fucking expensive. And I'm going to add the juice of a lemon. This lemon came from my tree in my backyard. So, juice of a lemon. By the way, I talked about it last time. This little juicer thing is brilliant. It really gets all the juice out of fruit. You put the fruit in, bubbled up, and it's very effective. It's a very efficient juicer. And then the zest from that same lemon, which sorry, I'm getting a mace. Which I got off the lemon with this microplaner, which you get on Amazon for like $7 or something. That's the zest of the lemon. By the way, that orange olive oil cake I made, I just finished the last of it. I've been having it with coffee in the morning. I recommend it very highly. It was really easy and it was really delicious. And it really held up its moisture well. I hope I can do all of this whole thing on camera because it's hot as a fucking... hotter than a whorehouse on nickel night in here, and I don't know that I can take it. I don't have air conditioning, and I can't use my fan because it plugs in the same plug as the lights. It's the whole thing. Life is tough over here. Okay, I'm gonna scrape that down a little too. I'm sorry if I'm not sorry. If I offended some people out there and you believe differently than me, that's your right to believe differently than I do. But the general rule of thumb with personal rights is that your personal rights end where my personal rights begin. So while I can swing my arms like this and I don't get in trouble for doing this, the minute I do this and it hits you in the face, I don't have the right to do that, do I? So she doesn't have the right to endanger everybody else and call everybody sheep. I don't know, 77,000 Americans dead at this point in time, 77,000. The whole conservative right that claims to be family values and pro-life, there happen to be also be pro-death penalty, are now the same people saying, I guess we have to get used to just more people dying. The family values people are saying, yeah, the economy's really important. Grandma's going to die anyway. She better take a bullet for us so I can get my nails done. It's just hilarious to me. It's not hilarious. Devastating. It's so bizarre, the hypocrisy of an entire group of people that claim to be pro-life but want kids in cages at the border. They want a death penalty in prison, and they want grandma to die in the nursing home so they can open up a cheesecake factory. I'm home alone a lot, so you're going to have to hear me talk. Now, every recipe I saw said add the eggs, 1 egg at a time. So we're going to call this is like about 6 eggs. So I'm going to go 1. 2. 3. 4. It smells eggy. It really does. I don't know if it's... All right. That's all of it. Oops, I debated whether to make a sour cream top to this or a fruit top. Everybody's articles I read, they're like apparently getting a cheesecake to bake and cool without cracking is a problem. It seems to me that a sour cream top is a nice fix if it does crack, and then if that cracks too. Fruit topping, I've got some frozen strawberries and some frozen blueberries. I don't know which one, maybe a combination. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I have to make the, this is done. Well, I can hear a lump of cream cheese in there. I live in Los Angeles. It's hot here. I don't have air conditioning. And I can't go out walking anymore because wearing, it's too hot to walk really, and wearing a mask makes it just so unpleasant. So rather than walking with no mask, I just don't go walking, because I'm trying to be a good citizen and respectful of everybody else. You don't know who they're going home to either, by the way. People going home to kids with people who are cancer survivors or currently going through chemo and they have a lowered immune system, or there's children. There's all kinds of reasons, and your immune system can be lowered. Children, elderly, and people who are just have AIDS. I don't know that. I think AIDS is an autoimmune disorder, so I imagine their immune system isn't good. And chemo survivors and ongoing chemo patients. These are. Think about somebody else. And the guy at the Trader Joe's was yelling at her, saying, "You're going to get me sick." And she's like, "I'm not. I'm a healthy person. I'm healthy, and you're a sheep." And your being healthy doesn't mean you can't still spread it. It doesn't mean you don't have it and you can give it to everybody else in that store with your selfishness. Okay, sorry, I really have to stop talking about it. And I'm going to go make the graham cracker crust. There's a whole thing with the pan and a water bath, and phew, it's hot. Now I'm going to come back in a second and do the next step. Okay, I'm back. What I have done is this is a 9-inch springform pan. I have melted butter. I have half a cup, 8 tablespoons, half a cup or a stick of Earth Balance buttery sticks melted in there. I dipped a paper towel in there a little bit and rubbed and buttered the whole inside of this, and then I put this on a piece of parchment paper, traced a circle, and cut that out, and putting that in the base of this. Ultimately, when I'm cooking it, I'm going to put it into this larger pan, and I'm going to fill this roasting pan halfway up the sides of this with boiling water and put this whole thing in the oven. That is the water bath that cheesecakes apparently cook in. The sour cream topping, which you add after it's cooled a little bit, pour it on top, and then bake it for 10 more minutes. And then you have to leave it in the fridge for like 8 hours. This needs to cool, this is the thing you make the day before you want to use it. So keep that in mind too. But you make the sour cream topping is a pint of sour cream, a quarter cup of sugar, and a tablespoon of vanilla whipped together, and you pour that on top, put it in the oven for 10 minutes, and then it's ready to just go in the fridge for eternity. This is a cup and a half of vegan graham crackers that I put in my Cuisinart, and I didn't make you watch me do it, but pulsed it all up so it's crumbs, it's powder basically. To that I'm adding a quarter cup of sugar, just regular old sugar. I'm going to mix that up to get it combined. It's amazing, I live alone and I've been in house arrest here since the middle of March, and in the beginning the weather, it was spooky. The supermarket, there was that real fear, like you go to the supermarket, there'd be no potatoes, and nobody was wearing masks or anything, but there was this weird Armageddon feeling because nobody knew how bad it was going to get. And the weather in Los Angeles was really bad, which is unusual for us, but it really suited the time. And I remember actually feeling like I need to go buy things that don't go bad, because they may put a padlock on my front door. Like it was at post 9/11, like something really bad had happened and you didn't know how bad it was still going to get. Remember after 9/11, you didn't know if you were going to get anthrax mailed to you, or if they were going to start bombing things and poisoning reservoirs, and you trying to bomb malls or whatever. You didn't know what the hell was going to go on. It was genuinely a scary time. And that first week or two, or maybe even a month of this, felt kind of like that. Not nearly as life-threatening, but life-changing. And it was something sort of cool about it. Now, it's beautiful out. I've been in my house by myself now for, 7 weeks, or 7 weeks. And I've gotten so good at doing nothing. Like the silence outside, when I went to bed, the silence in the beginning felt eerie, and the silence felt loud. It was eerie, and one night somebody set off 2 firecrackers. It sounded like at 2 o'clock in the morning, sounded like bombs. I'm like, oh my God, it's already scary, and now they're bombing us. It was it was really weird. Now the quiet feels normal. Doing absolutely fucking nothing feels normal. I do a load of dishes twice a day. I have done laundry maybe once, which means I'm just wearing the same shit all day, every day, because I don't see anybody. It's and I've gotten so good at doing nothing that I have no time to do anything. I used to play Words with Friends and things like that, and post away on Instagram and talk too much on Facebook and get into fights, and now I'm just so busy with my puzzles and listening to Andrew Cuomo, who's a fucking hero. Andrew Cuomo, he's the governor of New York. He has really risen to the challenge on this. Apparently he's a notorious dick. In this pan is the melted butter. I'm going to talk while I blend this half cup of butter in with this graham cracker crumbs and sugar. Even Democrats didn't like him. Apparently he was like just a surly, hard to get along with guy. And now he's just this amazing, comforting, soft voice who gives the truth. He gives you the good news and the bad news. You feel like you can trust what he says. He's not going to suggest that you stick a UV bulb up your ass or shoot bleach. And more importantly, he just seems to have such a big heart. And I love that he's got that New York accent, and I love that he challenges Mr. McConnell. It's like, I dare you to make the states declare bankruptcy, which isn't even constitutionally illegal, but I dare you, I dare you, I dare you. And that this idea that it's a blue state bailout when, I don't know how many of you know this, but every state gives into the federal pool, and the federal pool, this is how the whole country is already socialized, is that the rich states take care of the poor states. The rich states, among two of the richest, are California and New York, and we put way more money into that slush fund than the poor states do, and then that money goes to take care of things where it needs to be taken care of. So roads, for example, through Mississippi are paid for by New York and California. Mississippi doesn't have the money for that, and I have no problem with that. I believe in we are our brother's keeper. I have no problem with any of that. I believe that there should be public schools, and I believe that healthcare should be free. Nobody should make a profit off somebody being sick. It's an incredibly twisted concept. I can't believe we all accept it. And I just love that Andrew Cuomo is like reminding like the actual dollar amount. How do we give $113 billion a year more, and what does Kentucky give? What does Kentucky take? I have no problem with that. I think it's great. I think that we all should take care of each other, but this idea that the blue states are a charity case and that they shouldn't be taken care of is ridiculous. You really don't want piss off blue states. If you want your poorer states taken care of. Okay, I'm really on a fucking soapbox today. This is mixed, as you can see. So now I'm going to press it into the bottom of this 9-inch springform pan that I have greased with Earth Balance butter, and put a parchment paper at the bottom. Just going to press this all in here to make it nice and uniform. It doesn't go up the sides. Smoothing it out. The oven is at 375. This looks really nice. That looks great. And now I'm going to pour this in there. Oh man, it looks really good. So I'm pouring it in. I don't want this middle thing, the blade, to fall in. Though it's on a taller stem than the old-fashioned one I had was. All right. Oh man, I feel very positive about this already. I think I can just taste it because there's nothing in there that's not vegan. So I can taste it, see what it tastes like. See if that egg yolky thing gave it a funny flavor. Didn't make it any more yellow than it should be. Okay, let me see. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's a beautiful thing. All right, as somebody said, bang it a little time to encourage air bubbles to come to the surface. I see a few. I'm going to use a clean fork to pop them. Because you want this dense. I don't know if you ever had a New York cheesecake, but they are, you don't need much of it. And that's my favorite kind of dessert, is like flourless chocolate cake and stuff, that it's so rich and dense, you don't need much of it. Okay. Wow, what a good Mother's Day thing this would be. What day is it? Friday? Shit. It's the Friday, right? I'm shooting this the Friday before Mother's Day. This won't be up in time for you to use it for that, but you could do it for Father's Day. I have a very positive feeling about this. So I'm going to boil some water. When the water is boiling, I'm going to pour it so that it fills this to the halfway point or a little higher on this. I wrap this, by the way, in 2 layers of foil. The reason for that is twofold. This is a relatively new springform pan, so I think that it's liquid tight. I don't think this cheesecake would leak out anywhere, but some people's do. The bigger thing is you don't want water getting in. It's not so much that you don't want the cheesecake getting out, it's that you don't want water getting in. So that's what the foil is here for. Wow. And it's going to cook. Once it's, the boiling water's in there. The water's boiling, heating up on the stove right now. Once it's, what was I going to say? Yeah. 55 minutes to an hour. I guess what you wanted to do is to look golden on the golden around the edges. The edges should be set. The center can be a little bit loose. You don't want to overcook it. Don't want to undercook it. But I guess the way you can tell it's done is we're golden around the rim, set at the rim, and a little bit soft in the middle. Not jelly, but like, you know, little movement to it. Water's boiling. Oven's 375. I'm gonna make the sour cream topping thing next. Okay, guess what? Almost a horrible catastrophe almost happened. I put the boiling water into the roasting pan with the cheesecake. I opened the stove, went to put it in there, and a little bit of the boiling water sloshed off over the top of the pan into the oven, which immediately created a horrible steam gust. And I thought I was going to have like a first-degree steam burns. I almost had to drop the whole thing in the oven and just like to save myself. I felt my eyelashes, my mascara just melted together. So keep that in mind when you're putting that fucker in the oven. Do not splash any of the water from the larger pan into your oven, because it will scare you at best and burn you at worst. So. Wow, it really scared me. I was like, I'm going to drop all of this and save myself, then I didn't have to. By the way, I have this oven fried chicken stuff out because I bought myself some tofu, and I'm going to experiment with making fried chicken out of tofu with this totally chemical laced box of chemical powder. So look forward to that. I feel like I didn't finish my 2 thoughts. The Andrew Cuomo thought was that I love that he uses the word loving in every one of his press conferences. We must be careful. We must be, strong and resilient and loving and loving. He says loving every time. I think it's so sweet. I think it's so important. And it's so what's missing in people like that woman that I talked about earlier in the Trader Joe's. There's nothing loving about that. She's just an angry, selfish, ignorant person. And loving is what we need to be. People are fucking dying. Meanwhile, this is 16 ounces of vegan tofu sour cream. This is a 1/4 cup of sugar. Oop, I forgot the vanilla. I'll be right back. Teaspoon of vanilla. I love that he's a badass and uses the term loving. And I feel like I was on another rant that I might not have come to the conclusion of. Probably just now. I was in another one and forgot. I'm very lightheaded these days. So I'm just mixing the sour cream, sugar, and some vanilla. I know what I was saying. I was saying that 1 in 5 American mothers say their children are hungry because of the food shortages and the financial hardships they are undergoing. 1 in 5 American mothers say their children aren't getting enough to eat right now. And in certain states there are food banks, and the line in New York and southern states, lines that are 6 hours long to get a box of groceries that feeds 4 people for 3 days. Probably $20 worth of food, spaghetti and things like that. It's shocking, and people are really suffering. So walking around like a dickhead with your mask off or wearing it like this, with your nose out, is bullshit. I saw a video of another woman in a store wearing a mask with a hole cut out through this. Her nose and her mouth exposed like crotchless panties. And the store worker was like, oh, that's an interesting idea. Why'd you do that? She said, oh, I couldn't really breathe before, but now I have this cut open and now I can breathe. This woman is like in her 50s. And that's just moronic. It's not even ignorant. It's just so dumb. It's breathtaking. No pun intended. So yeah, people are starving. People are dying. 40% of bars at this point, they're predicting 40% of the bars in Manhattan won't come back. And what I said earlier, in a couple of episodes ago, I said that my greatest fear, beyond people I love dying and more Americans dying, more people in the world dying, my personal fear is that the only restaurants that can survive this incredibly prolonged recession / depression that we're going to be going through will be big giant ones like McDonald's and Domino's. Especially things like Domino's, where delivery is their primary business model, but all the things that make the world interesting will go away. There's different cities are fun to visit because they're different. I'm always confused when people go to travel the world or travel the country and then they want to go to they want to go to Chili's and they want to go to, Domino's and McDonald's and other Olive Garden, things that are familiar, and that homogenization of America is a terrible thing. Regional stuff is great. One of my favorite things about the South is that it's because it's been economically sort of struggling forever since the Civil War. A lot of the old mom and pop stuff is intact. A lot of these towns haven't been gentrified and white breaded up, and the little mom and pop things and old signage and stuff still exists in these places, and it gives them their character, and their character's intact, and I think that's lovely. Driving across country is a really fun thing to do. I've done it a number of times, 4, 5, 6 times, I don't know. Anyway, I ramble, but it says that every one of us is going through something. At least, be happy if no one you love has died. And I know, so be good. I'm not going to come back, I don't think, because I'm going to have the cheesecake's going to cook for about an hour, and I'll show you what it looks like. And then I'm going to put this on it for 10 minutes, and then it's got to cool until tomorrow, and it's hot as a motherfucker in here. And so I think what I'm going to do is just show you what it looked like finished, whether I put it with a sour cream top or with a fruit top, how it looked before the sour cream top. All these things I'm going to show you, and I'm not going to reappear. And you're saying, thank God, because I can't listen to that bitch talk anymore. She's killing me. So with that, please subscribe. I don't know if this is going to be an actual recipe, but I'm intrigued. I will say one of the things at the supermarket that I noticed is all the dry goods are gone. Rice and beans and lentils and things. Chickpeas are hard to find, and that I love those things personally, and I stocked up on those fast. But my point now is I have a shit ton of recipes using those things on my channel, and they're super inexpensive. They're really, really economical to use. I made the butter chicken chickpeas. I made it here the other day with just chickpeas and gave a bunch to my friend to take home, and his family loved it so much they made it again, and another family saw my post of it and they made it and they loved it. So the butter chicken just with chickpeas, and don't even use any vegan chicken, and it is pretty yummy and spectacular, and you can make it in an Instant Pot or a slow cooker or on the stove. Okay, with that, just look in the back catalog, and my blog has even more stuff that I haven't gotten around to for the channel. So wow, I'm sweating. I'm sweating, like it's running down my back. That's why I don't want to come back with the oven on and lights. It's too much. So be good to each other. Be loving. Be good. Be kind. Be selfless where you can. Be the person you're going to be proud you were when this thing is over, because it'll take a long time. I mean, the 2008 recession took 10 years for us to get back from, and they're saying this is going to be worse. So, it's a marathon, kids. Don't be a dick out of the gate. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go from there if you're already a dick now? All right, I'm rambling. Please subscribe and stay safe. And until next time, enjoy this cheesecake. Bye.